Hello, everyone. How is everyone on this fine evening? Nice and hot. Actually, today's not bad.
No, it's not
It's supposed to get real hot, though.
raw.
90s,
And
humid,
stay 90s.
for like a week and a half or something like that. So, we'll see how that goes. But for now, pretty good. So, as always, let's wait for some people by making fun of some other people. So, boom chaka. Covering up your face. No one wants to see your face. Alright, so let's see. This is new. An Empire Tracer. Used Empire Tracer pump marker system. Comes with all seen in the photos, $40 or best offer. So, Empire Tracer in a box. The original box has got the setup. It's got a squeegee. I honestly don't know what this gun is worth, so I can't speak as to whether or not this is a good price for it. I've heard of this gun, but I've not ever seen one in person, so I don't know if that's a good price or not. My guess would be probably not. I don't know for sure. Now here's a fun one. Here's one we can actually make fun of. Tippmann 98 custom paintball gun for sale. I have the original box as well. I also bought the longer barrel for this gun for more accuracy. That does not help your accuracy. The tripod feet have adjustable length. This tripod is aftermarket, but is a great addition. I can't read very well. Does not include the CO2 tank. Everything works as it should. It's a great marker / gun. It's very customizable and have a great reputation for quality.
Well, that's true.
I mean, that is true that it's good for, well, it depends on how you define quality. It's never going to break. Although the O-rings probably need changed by this point. But as far as $75, no. No, not $75.
Considering the box,
Maybe 20.
how old is this gun?
Oh, well, then that's a fair question. I wouldn't say it's too important.
I would.
Well, because if you have to replace the O-rings, that's $15 there. So, what you got, June?
Loki, come.
Probably a chicken sandwich wrapper. What's this here? $25 for Unique Paintball Pro Gear Backpack. Well,
With
it's 6 tubes, plus 1 gas cylinder, not included. Small Velcro pouch on front. So I guess that's not bad for $25. So that's fine.
Those are nice pods.
I can say $25 for that is fine. I mean, they're a little small, but they're 60 count.
But they're nice.
So that's not bad. I'm not gonna make fun of that one. That was fine. This person is asking a whole bunch of different numbers. An Etha 2 for $300. That's not bad. It's not exactly great depending on the age, but it's not
Ninja
bad.
for 90 isn't.
A Spire for $50. Eclipse bag for $150. Which bag is that? Okay, that's not bad.
The Freak Barrel Kit for $125.
I would say that most of the stuff is pretty decently priced.
Those masks are horrible, but everything else looks real nice.
Yeah, it would. Well, no, they're not horrible masks. They're just probably older.
He only will $20. That's not too bad.
And this is a pretty good.
None of this is laughable.
Yeah.
Oh, the Virtue Spiral Mouse for $55 though. That's a little laughable.
This is all fine. There's nothing here that's laughable. This person actually knows what they're talking about a little bit. X7 for $400. Now that is indeed laughable. You could buy it brand new for $400, sure. It's brand new.
It was only used one time.
Only used one time. Comes with 4 CO2 tanks. No one wants your CO2 tanks.
A vest.
A
12
vest.
poppers.
3 masks. 2,000 paintballs.
Again, nobody wants your CO2
No one wants
tanks,
your
and
CO2
nobody
tanks or
wants
your
your
paintballs.
paintballs.
He's not giving this away for free. Well, no one's buying it for $400. That's for sure. No one wants your paint. No one wants your
Why
paint.
do people try to sell their paint?
I don't know. I mean, if they were trying to sell it and they used it like 2 weeks ago, sure. Airsoft vest. That's fine for $20. I got no issue with that one. Well, we're pretty much out of things to make fun of, unfortunately. But yeah, why are you selling your CO2 tanks, and why are you selling your paint? Now, the CO2 tanks, I could see maybe you're not sure. You don't realize the CO2's gone. You know, if you used to play back in the day. But
You can still.
why
get
are
a
you
play.
selling your paint? No one wants your paint. Paint goes bad fairly quickly.
Hi, Minion.
Hello, Eric. I sent you prices, and I have yet to hear a response from you of any sort. I want you to know that that makes me sad. It hurts me in the heart region, just a little bit. So, what are we gonna talk about today, love?
Well, we had a scenario a
We
couple weeks ago.
Did have a scenario about 2 weeks ago on the 20th. What day is today?
Today's
The
the
first.
first.
So what? 11 days ago. How'd that go for us?
Not well.
Not well.
Not well in the slightest.
No, it went pretty bad for us.
Pretty bad.
Very bad?
Abomination.
Atrociously?
It went atrociously.
Yeah, it did not go well for us. But it was World War II Battles of the Pacific by Mission Masters at Three Rivers. And I'm sure anyone that's watching this knows that we like Mission Masters, probably better than almost any other, if
More
not the best.
importantly, we really like Dean.
I don't think that's more important.
I think
I
it's-
could dislike Dean and still like Mission Masters.
Okay. So less important, but relevant. We
Okay.
like Dean.
Anyway, we do. That's true. But anyway, yeah, it went really bad for us. We lost by like 150 points or something.
It was
No, it was like 124 to like
It was
62 or something.
146 to 55. I think.
So by about 100 points we lost by,
It,
which
it was bad.
which was unfortunate. We lost all 7 missions except for one.
6.
So we lost 6 of them and won 1. We got all 100 or all possible points for that one mission, but they kind of designed it for us to win, because that was mission 6, and by then we were losing so badly that
But to our credit, because I'm going to take credit for this,
take credit for it, girl.
it was the beach landing from 68 caliber.
Basically, yeah.
For we were the Germans, and if we can't win that, we don't deserve to be even playing the game. And it was beatable. It was absolutely beatable. They could have won.
Well, we won when we did Mayon. When we did the beach at Mayon, we won. The same thing, only in the opposite direction. We were running up the hill. True.
And
So it's very winnable.
it's winnable, so let's not discredit our talent for that, and it was designed for us to win.
Well, it kind of was.
I'm still taking credit, because Dunedin does not let any beach become its bitch.
I believe we have in the past.
You know what? Okay.
But yeah, we lost. I think
Trying to be comical.
for the first couple of missions, we had less players. That did even out as more people came in. They kept putting people onto our team, which was good. And then at lunch, which is after mission 3, they did a recount. And at that point, we had one less person than they did. It was 36-35. So it had evened out pretty good by that point, which was nice.
And then we were down by 4,
But-
it was still.
What?
At one point, I think this was after lunch, we were down by 4.
People?
Yes.
Yeah, it could have been people left, but anyway, we continued to get just annihilated. Mission 1, we got 0 points. Mission 2, we got like 3 points. No, mission 1 we got some. I don't think we ever got a 0. I don't think we ever got a 0, but we got very few points every time. I don't know. Dean doesn't put the score up anymore, so I don't know what every mission is anymore. But
I
Um,
don't know why he stops doing that. I liked that.
I liked seeing the score.
But
I think it
that's-
was. I think what part of the problem was it would lead people to see how badly they were losing, and people would leave because of that. The rebuttal I would have to that thought, and I don't know this is why he does it, I just assume it is. The rebuttal I would have is there are plenty of times where I have felt we were losing very badly or winning pretty well, only to see the score and realize that that was not the case. It was a much closer game. Like even at Mayon, I thought we were losing by like 20-ish points. We lost by 1 point. So,
Oh.
yeah,
I think
I
it's a
like seeing the
double-edged
score.
sword. I
Yeah.
like seeing the score too. But that's just my nature.
Yeah.
Of if I'm losing, then I'm gonna try to bring it. If I'm winning, I'm still gonna try to bring it.
You don't bring it anymore?
No, but like
It's already been brought and she don't need to bring it.
I like to know what's important. So if there's if we are dramatically winning, I may not go for the big thing because that may not be obtainable. I may go for little things. Or even if
and
we
just
are
keep up the score.
if we're even losing, maybe continually getting little things is gonna at least dramatize the difference.
And that's even what we tried doing.
Instead of getting 0 for trying to get something big and even it out.
And that's even what we tried doing because we knew we were losing, but so I felt we should just keep doing the little missions what we could and still get some points on the board, which, like I said, I don't think we ever got a 0, so we did do that. But anyway, even after the recount, we continued to get just pwned.
They definitely had more talent.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm getting to
Oh, I'm
is
sorry.
they had more experienced players. We had brand new walk-ons, and then some semi-experienced, mostly just weekend warrior types. And I think most of them, like 9 out of 10 of them, did very well for who they were and not having played before. But they didn't have the experience, and they were nervous about running into fire and things like that, as you'd expect for new players. I think they did very well for being new players, but it was still new players against veterans.
It was rental versus equipment.
Basically, yeah, we had a whole bunch of rental people, which you can do it with a rental gun. That's not the point.
No,
it's just
but
the
I'm not
experience
talking
of the players.
about usually when you have your own equipment. It's not about what equipment you're using, because your equipment could be the same thing as the rental gun.
You're talking about just experience.
I'm talking about experience.
Right.
If you have your own equipment, you're definitely more experienced than somebody who's going to have a rental. I mean, P3, I use P3's rental gun. That's what I use to play. So
Right.
that's not an excuse of who has the better gun. It's more so you have a Tippmann 98 versus a $600 speedball gun that can just wipe the floor of paint.
Yeah.
That also
that's what
changes the game.
And that's what we ran into a lot, besides just the experience level, which I truly believe is what did it mostly. But a big factor that kept our players nervous, and I assume that was their goal, is that all of the, well, a lot of them are speedballers, but LOA and their kind on the other side shoot a lot. They shoot a lot of paint. Regardless of how you feel about that, I mean, I don't care. You're gonna shoot. You want to shoot paint? Shoot paint. I don't know how they afford it personally, but that's how they play. There's no problem with that. But it really kept our newbies scared, and they wouldn't come out from behind their bunkers, and they weren't experienced. So they get mowed down, and so Paul and I even discussed this. We were like, let them run out of paint. They're shooting so much paint. By mission 4 or 5, they're going to be out of paint. Well, that never happened. They never ran out of paint. I don't know if they kept buying more or if they just had so much to begin with. I don't know how they did this, but they shot more paint each round, I think, than I shot the whole day.
I mean, you and I didn't even use a full case.
Between the two of us, right?
Between the two of us.
No, I ran with a pump for various cost reasons that I'll come back to, but Yeah, I don't know how they afford to shoot as much paint as they do, honestly. But yeah, I mean, between the amount of just the sheer volume of fire on their end, and then the experience, they definitely outclassed our team, unfortunately.
Before going into the positives, because I feel that there were a select few that brought it every mission, regardless of their talent or experience. We had a lot of slow players that, like, when I'm trying to push forward and I can't because you're in my way, you know that we have a problem.
It's true. A-Dog is not very fast in the woods. We've discussed this before. I don't know how she can be so fast on the concrete and so slow in the woods, but she is.
I am. I'm afraid to fall.
I fall all the time.
I know you fall all the time, and I know you run into trees. I'm a scaredy cat. Let's just admit it. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't like to put myself in a position where I can't see where I'm going. That's one of the reasons I don't like playing in the dark.
And let's clarify something. I do not run into trees.
You make friends with them?
I am a tree hugger. I hug trees.
Sorry, you hug trees. So I am I'm slow in the woods. Once I get there to a puzzle or whatever, but I also make sure that I find people who I know are fast to take that position because I'm never going to be front line. But I know that about myself. And I'm not going to, I wish I was faster. I wish I was more athletic. That'd get me a lot further in life, but I'm not, so I have to use what I got. But these people were slower than molasses, and the people that I specifically chose for mission 1, I was like, you need to get to the castle. I got a flag. The flagpole is taller than I am. I need you to move so that I can get there. And I took 3 steps and they were already at the castle. So that was my most frustrating movement, that 6 foot tall guys, you already have legs that are going to get you further than I can. I can take 10 steps to your 2. I should not be pushing you to get out of my way so that I can run with a damn flag. That really irritated me. And then they were complaining about, I'm not a shield guy. Then don't volunteer to take the shield, but I can't carry a flag and a shield together. I was real frustrated. Mission 1. I just was.
Like I said, 9 out of 10 of our newbies were perfectly good for what they were. But yeah, there were a few that were, I don't know if it was laziness or inexperience or nervousness or all of the above. Or I think, honestly, in some cases, they just weren't sure what they were supposed to be doing or where they were supposed to be going. Because I know there are plenty of times that I see people that could get somewhere fast and they're willing to run. They just don't know where to run to. So they're looking for someone else to lead the way, to know where to go. And I think in your case, they were looking to you to lead where they should go. But the problem was that you aren't that fast, and you had a flag that was bigger, like you said, bigger than you.
Also, going back, like, comparing it to Mayan, I had a group of children. I have to call them children now because I'm old. But high schoolers who I could tell one kid was on the track team, and I told him exactly where to go. He didn't get lost. He got where he needed to go. Now, unfortunately, balls got there quicker than him and got him out with a sword, but he got where he needed to be. And so, like, that frustrated me when I had children listen better than adults. And so, positively, we had a lot of young, unexperienced players who did very well. We had a group of, there were 5, 6 of them that were right next to us in our pavilion.
I think there were 6 of them.
Who had to be between 15 and 18. One was a girl. I explained to her, I ran out of air. And I was like, I can't do anything. I'm just going to be a big target. She still had air. I told her to lay down while I went to spawn point It was right in the weeded field by what is supposed to be a helicopter. I told her to lay down and just start shooting. And she listened to me. She didn't question anything. She was like, okay. She walked away from me and she laid down. She didn't have to listen to me. She did. And then there were two girls who, the one girl had, and I don't know her name, and I apologize. I'm lucky I know the face, or the mask. She had purple hair. She had very good communication skills. She saw people, she pointed them out, she explained what was going on. So we had some good new talent that at least tried, that played every mission, didn't leave the field because they were frustrated. So I give up to those. We needed more of those players because they were ready to fight. I would tell them what to do, or hey, come with me. And they're like, okay, sure. And didn't question one thing. And not that you shouldn't question anything or have questions about why we're doing something, but the fact that they were just ready to be in the action was very helpful. So we had some very good new players. I hope they had a good time, even though we got our asses handed to us. And they come back, because they played hard.
Indeed, I hope they come back. But so I mentioned earlier for the cost reasons. I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. Then we'll get to Eric's comment. Three Rivers charges $10 for all-day air. They're the only field I know of that charges to refill your air. The only field. I assume that's because of the deal they have worked out with Mission Masters. I don't know that for sure, but you gotta stop that. You guys gotta stop that. That's ridiculous. $10 for all day air. It's legitimately cheaper for me to refill my air the one time I'm gonna have to refill it for $3. So I will not pay for the all day air. I just won't do it. I have 2 tanks. I fill them somewhere else, and I bring them full. And if I need to refill it once, I go pay $3 to have it filled. Because what are you doing, guys? $10 to fill your air it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's what's
It
there.
also, going back to the $10 air, I know we've had issues, team issues, about how much it costs, and we never state that you have to pay for air because we don't think about it. And then we've had some issues where people have gotten mad because we told them it was one price, but with all day air, it's a separate price. So if you just eliminated that, how much, I don't understand really charging for air. And like you said, I've never been to a field that charges for air.
Other than Three Rivers, right? Of all the fields we've been to a good number. That's the only one.
Did we have to pay for air for Mogadishu?
Nope. They're legitimately the only field you have to pay for air at. So, I don't know what's going on with that, guys. I think it's just always been that way from back when they used to fill CO2. So I don't know if you need to. I don't know what you need to do, but that's got to stop. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so Eric's comment is, I can't get over the fact that people said the Viking ones were heavy, and he's referring to the shields. I agree with you, Eric. They're pretty small and lightweight. They do what they need to do. They're wonderful shields. Please keep making them. We're gonna need a bunch of them for Hamburger Hill, but they're, I don't know, maybe probably about this big.
They weren't heavy. I do know, because it was a comment made, and I think it was a comment made to Eric as well, that the armbands were just not.
They're not big enough.
Big enough.
Yeah, I told him that.
I mean, I look at my arm. I had no problem, but I didn't find them heavy or weird to carry.
No, I actually thought that they were both light and comfortable to wear, other than the strap needs to be a little bigger. And I would have loved to carry it around all day, except that I was running pump, and it is not easy to run a pump with a shield.
I mean, it's awkward to carry a shield in general and carry your gun. I'm tiny. It's awkward for me, but a lot of things in paintball are awkward for me because of my height. Actually, a lot of things
In life?
are awkward for me. I do pretty well though. I've been about this size since 6th grade, so I've come to terms with it. But besides the awkwardness, it was comfortable. I was able to crouch. I got Nate into a van. I helped Dalton try to get around the van a little bit. So I don't know why people were bitching.
Yeah,
I had no issue with it.
I am not a shield person. I don't typically like using shields. The biggest reason for me, besides just it's something extra to carry, is you can't switch hands with it. You can only shoot right-handed or left-handed depending on which one you're holding your shield on. And not that I switch hands all the time, not nearly as often as like a speedballer would, but I do. And you can't really do that if you have a shield. But your Viking ones are light and small enough that I would have been fine carrying it. I mean, I'd still prefer not to, but we had so few people on our team that wanted to carry a shield, I ended up carrying it at least 2 different times.
People got frustrated and they were like, they would take it and then decide that they didn't want it anymore. And that was not the Viking shield, that was the big one. And I understand not carrying the big metal one around.
But what did aggravate me about the shields in our team was I told everyone specifically, if you take a shield, if you get shot out, either hand it off to a teammate or take it back to spawn and respawn with it. And then if you don't want to use it anymore, either hand it off to a teammate or take it back to spawn. I made that very clear, and yet we lost them multiple times because people would just leave it on the field somewhere. And that annoyed me. It really did. I'm sure it annoyed Eric because he thought that his good one got lost.
No.
So that was annoying. That did bother me, regardless of how well they played or didn't play. It annoyed me that they leave the shields everywhere.
I don't know what was so heavy about it. It was laminated flooring and foam noodles. Like, what was heavy about that?
Yeah, they're probably, 10 pounds maybe, total? But in any case.
It's more an awkward thing than anything. And with the strap, if you have a big arm, I would understand not wanting to carry it. But the excuse of it being heavy is ridiculous to me.
For sure. But they are well made, Eric, so keep doing what you're doing.
I liked them.
They're good. And they're not perfect, but what is? I like them. 8 pounds, he says. 8 pounds.
But do you want something, like, for the cost and the efficiency?
Right. That's what I'm saying. They work very well.
You don't want
I
something
think
that's
for
gonna...
Mission Masters, I think they're almost ideal, honestly.
Yeah.
For what I have pictured for Hamburger Hill, they're not ideal. But
No, we're gonna need longer ones.
yeah, we need bigger ones. But for Mission Masters, I actually think they're almost ideal.
Could we make a shield out of drywall?
No, I mean you could, but why? It would just break.
I don't know.
It would
I
be
didn't
annihilated.
think it was gonna be strong enough. I was just
It would
curious.
fall apart before you
We
even
have
got
a bunch
shot.
of OSB, don't we? Downstairs, don't we have a bunch of OSB?
No,
Where did all of our wood go?
we used to. So 2 things about Mission Masters that I think need change. So Dean, listen up here. 2 things.
Yeah, Dean.
if you're listening to this at any point.
We typically watch this.
First, and they're both spawn points. One is a very specific thing, and the other is broad. So the broad one is, and I think we've mentioned this before. I think Paul mentioned it. I think we've mentioned it. The spawns seem to be closer recently than they have been in the past.
Since Black Hawk Down.
Yes,
They've-
so last year and this year, they seem to be much closer than they used to be. And that's, in my opinion, a problem because we end up shooting into each other's spawns accidentally. Like I mentioned,
Yeah,
I've
you
mentioned
mentioned
this
that.
more than once. At Temple of Doom, I was in Creek in the one building, shooting at a guy, hit him in the head, and he wouldn't leave. And I was like, Dean, what's up? And he said, well, that's their spawn. There's no reason that, and again, that was where our mission was. We had to be there for our mission. There's no reason that from our mission point we should be able to shoot into their spawn. It should not be a thing.
Agreed.
And the field is plenty big enough, and I don't remember that ever being an issue. I mean,
I
maybe
don't
every
remember
once in a while,
shooting
but
into spawn.
not consistently being an
There
issue.
were huge issues, and I don't know if this was a player situation or the actual spawn construction, but there were numerous issues of shooting into spawns for Blackhawk.
Right, and so yeah, and it's happened. It's happening more and more, and it's causing issues. We've had a couple of almost fights break out recently, both last year and this year, because of shooting into spawn, and that's a real issue. There were a couple of times at Mayon. There was a couple of times at Battle Specific where people were getting really angry about getting shot at in their spawn. And I'm trying to pay attention to where people are and everything. And at one, so brings us to the specific, but I'm still on the general, where we spawned up by helicopter. There's like a circle of dirt and tires right by helicopter where our
Right
spawn
behind
was.
town,
And
of where the
again,
flag
their
is,
mission,
isn't it?
well, actually, it was both of our missions, were in Creek, and it was on the building. It was in the building that was on our side of the creek, on helicopter side of the creek, opposite the castle.
Oh, you're talking about the mounds in front of helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of mounds behind.
In front of
it.
helicopter.
Okay.
And so the building on opposite side from the castle, on the side of the helicopter, was the mission. It was both our mission and their mission. From that building, they could shoot our spawn. And they did. They
They
continued
shot
to do so.
little kids too.
They
which
were
was
they
really
continuously shot into our spawn. Now there's two prongs to this. One is they were, and I feel intentionally at one point, shooting into our spawn. On the other though, and I think it started this way, is they were shooting at people who were still in, that were near our spawn. Which, that's gonna happen. I'm not gonna complain about that part. But their mission shouldn't be so close to our spawn, or our spawn shouldn't be so close to their mission, that we can shoot each other from the spawn in the mission. It should not be a thing. And so at one point they were shooting into our spawn. They were shooting me and some kids that were in the spawn. We were just standing there. It was quite obviously a spawn. The ref is with us. We're all just standing about, and they shot into us several times and continuously. There was ropes of ping. So I walked down to the ref, getting shot at the whole time, by the way, and I said, "Ref, every single one of those people in that building are shooting our spawn on purpose. I need you to kick them out." And he's a newer ref. That he was the first time I'd ever met him, and he did go over to talk to them, but he didn't kick anyone out, which I'm not surprised by. Whether or not he should have, I don't know. Part of me, I still want them to have been kicked, or at least moved. But on the other hand, that was, again, their mission. So, should you move them? They should be there because that's where their mission is. They need to be there. So
But
it goes back and forth.
Why isn't their mission ref there stating that's their spawn, don't shoot at them?
I don't know. I mean, when he went over, he didn't, like I said, he didn't push any of them out, but they did stop shooting our spawn at that point, so that was good.
Because and let's go to talk about the refs. Last mission, last two.
Before we get to the refs, can I
Yes, I'm
say
so
my
sorry.
second
I
point?
thought you did everything. I'm
No.
so sorry. I'll
So
stop.
the specific point of spawn is this particular spawn that we're talking about, near helicopter. So technically our spawn actually was helicopter. That technically was our spawn. And it's been this way before. This is at least the third time this has happened.
The spawn ref sits on those tire mounts.
Exactly right. Because the helicopter is in sun. It's in full sun. No one wants to stand there. No one wants to sit there. It's full sun. It's really hot. It was 90 degrees that day. No one wants to stand in the sun. So everyone, including the ref, by the way, migrates over under the trees in this bowl. Now, could they have shot the helicopter from where they were? Yeah, probably, but you can't really see it, so the likelihood of that happening is much lower. But my point is that the new spawn, and this happens every time, the spawn is no longer a helicopter. The spawn is this bowl.
Yes, but
Because
there's
that's where the ref goes. And everyone, whether you be an experienced player or a new player, but especially the new players, they're gonna go where the ref is because that's where the ref is, and they're waiting for the ref to tell them they can go back in. So they all migrate to where the ref. More than that, whether the ref was there or not, that's where the shade is. They're gonna go where the shade is because the helicopter is nothing but sun,
But
and
beh-
no one wants to be in that.
But behind the helicopter.
Right. That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting to. If you're gonna have it over there, put it back behind in the woods, behind helicopter. Because again, the bowl is where everyone goes because there's shade there, and it leads to a problem every single time. That was one like I just talked about when I went down and talked to the ref. It was an issue at Mayon. Black Hawk Down, I remember it was an issue. I think it was Temple, where we actually had to stop the game,
That was
reset the.
Black Hawk.
Was that Black Hawk? We had to stop the game, reset the spawns, and go again because it was a big fiasco. It was a big problem to the
Oh,
point
that
where
was
I
Black
actually
Hawk.
had a ref tell me. I was like, they're shooting into our spawn. Where, he's like, well, we're giving you plenty of room where you can come in. I was like, okay, well, tell me. And he's like, if you get hit, you can just keep going. I said, okay, well, I'm going to walk forward. Tell me when to stop. Of where I can no longer have infinite respawns, where I can no longer just shoot. So I went as far as I could, which was all the way down towards the creek. There was no more hill. I was basically on the level with the creek. And he said, right there. And I just stood there, and everyone on their team kept shooting me, and I kept shooting back at them, and I just wouldn't leave because I was still allowed to just be there because they were shooting into our spawn. So that's happened at least 3 times at this point. So that can no longer be a spawn. It just can't. You can't have a spawn there because it's always an issue. Do not make the helicopter a spawn ever again. Just don't do it.
Considering that there's a mound of tires behind helicopter that's in the shade, it's where, or it used to be. I don't know if they specifically remove it for the mission masters or any
What?
scenario, where the near side flag is for Field 6. That's shade. Then there's where,
Which are you talking about? The bowl of dirt?
yeah,
There's no shade there. That's all
There's-
sun as well.
okay, it's right by a tree.
You could have it back where German spawn is for
Yes,
68 caliber.
which has netting, and you would be able to remove your mask if there was a spawn. If there was a spawn ref right there, then you could go into the netting and at least be able to breathe when it is 90
It's
degrees
also a
outside.
little farther back. It's also so you're spreading the spawns out a little bit more. But regardless of where it goes, it can't be at helicopter anymore. It's too sunny. No one wants to stand there. Everyone migrates over to the shade, including the ref, so that becomes the new spawn, and it's always an issue. I remember even being an issue years ago before I noticed that the spawns were getting closer together. It was an issue then. So, yeah, that definitely needs to change.
May I-
So go ahead with your ref.
So, I have 2 points. One, I think it was the last 2 minutes of the game. Dante and I believe his name is Mike, he's always in red. They were in the tower. And I know specifically Mike came up, like, he was this far away. His barrel was touching Mike's mask. And I don't know if surrender happened. I believe they, like, hey, let's just both leave. I don't know what happened. I think a surrender was stated. He shot him point blank in the mask. Dante got lit up by someone 2 feet away, and the ref didn't do anything. The ref's like, we'll talk to him. First of all, it's 2 minutes left in the damn game. By the time he walked off the field, it was, I think, a minute left. Why are these refs not doing anything? We have people shooting hot. There's definitely bruises of people shooting hot. Why are we not chronoing and zip tagging guns? Is besides me. If you're gonna have new refs, train them to be spawn refs. Our ref, nice girl. I'm not gonna say anything negative. There were times She legitimately didn't know what time was left in our spawn. She didn't know what time was left in the game. I had to tell numerous people to put their masks on, and she wasn't saying anything. And I guess this was her first time
It was.
reffing paintball games. She was more airsoft. I don't care how nice you are. Put your damn mask on. Done.
It's true. At one point, I was like, "Hey, ref, how long until respawn?" She's like, "A couple minutes." And a few minutes went by. I was like, "Hey, ref, how long till respawn?" And she was like, "Oh, you're good to go." Like, how long ago was that? You know, like, what? You didn't tell us. She didn't tell us. But anyway, yes, I agree with you. But as far as the what you're mentioning, as far as the 15-foot rule, that one, I'm going to give some leeway to the refs on that one. This is why. It is extremely difficult to enforce the 15-foot rule.
I'm not talking about 15 feet. I'm
Well-
talking about 3 feet. I'm talking about where, and this is hearsay, so I don't know everything that happened. But when your barrel is touching somebody's mask, why are you shooting it? You've barrel tagged them. They have to get the hell out. I don't understand this. I want to shoot somebody from 2 feet away. I understand 15 feet, 10 feet, hell, even 5 feet. Sometimes it's a judgment call. Sometimes you get spooked if somebody's coming around the corner. And I completely understand that. But when you fire out of your gun and you're 2 feet away, that's purposeful. And a ref should take care of that.
That I agree with. That one, yes, the one where he was almost touching his mask, which again I didn't see. It's just I'm hearing it from somebody
none
else.
of these things I saw, they are all hearsay. But I saw Dante leave extremely pissed off. He's like, I have to walk off of this field. I'm sorry. I need to calm down, or I'm gonna hit somebody. And I was like, Dante, go. We got a minute left. It's okay. Calm down. And he actually talked to Ryan, and I saw somebody run up tower and shoot some fire. I wasn't sure exactly what was happening. So all of this is hearsay. But it seems that you need to have authority. Why, if they're not going to be authoritative, if they're airsoft, don't put them on a paintball field. Don't make their first paintball experience a scenario.
But like I said,
Train your refs. I think that we all need to
I agree
train
with that
refs
part.
better.
Although apparently we're a little too aggressive with our mask wearing, but that's neither here nor there. As far as me giving leeway to the refs about the 15-foot rule, I don't like the 15-foot rule. Not because I like shooting people close. Not because I appreciate getting shot close. Certainly not. I actually actively will not shoot people close for reasons that we can discuss, but this is my problem with it. It's unenforceable most of the time. It's unenforceable.
Yeah.
When you get into that tower, how can you be 15 feet away? And what the voiceover, the sergeant, the intro, what it says is if you're within 15 feet, both of you should stop shooting and separate. That's the official rule according to the. So that would mean that there's no point in being in the tower, because if someone got to the tower, you're both supposed to back up. So then someone else goes in the tower, and then someone else, and then you both back up. So it's unenforceable there. It's unenforceable in the pagodas. There's no possible way to do it. It's unenforceable, at the tank. There's so many. It's just not. You can't feasibly play the game with a 15-foot diameter.
Then there
It's not
shouldn't be a
physically possible.
15-foot rule at all.
That's what I'm getting to. Is saying that they should just eliminate the 15-foot rule. At that point, when it comes to your barrel is touching you and you still shoot them, that's a problem. But in general, they're just get rid of the 15-foot rule, because this is where I understood what Dante's point was. I mean, he was complaining that he got shot within 15 feet. Or he actually got shot a lot within 15 feet.
That was, I think, his problem. It
And
wasn't a one
it was
shot.
how much, yeah, it was how much he got shot.
much he got shot.
Which, regardless of how you feel about that, is against the rules. And that's my point. I don't think it should be against the rules. Now, I think he got overshot, but that's beside the point. My point is, what he was saying was, if you're not going to enforce the 15-foot rule, don't have it. And I completely agree with that. I don't think you should have it because it's untenable, and because I think it's untenable, you shouldn't have it. Either don't state the rule and don't have it, or have it and enforce it. I think enforcing it is stupid and you're not going to be able to do it.
I don't think you
But
can.
if you're going to say it, if you're going to have the rule, enforce it. One of the two.
I think they need to enforce that if you are within 5 feet, don't overshoot that player. One shot is enough. Give them 5 seconds to raise their fucking hand.
Well, yes, I agree with that, but that's a separate point, though.
Yes, but it also goes with if you remove the 15-foot rule and then enforce being safe.
Yeah, overshooting.
Do not overshoot. Do not blind shoot. Those should be rules. If you are within 5 feet, take one shot. If they don't leave, like, you obviously, if you're within 5 feet of somebody, you can see if paint breaks. If they're not calling their shot, tell them to call them out. If they don't leave, okay, shoot them again. But, like, I have been in positions where I go down and I have no idea if it broke. So it has to take me a second, and they're still like, I'm legitimately not shooting at you. I'm just bunkered down. Within 5 feet, you know if you got hit. Give them a moment. As long, like, if you can tell they're not shooting at you, give them a moment to leave the field.
Right.
Leave a building.
Now, and for me personally, so I mentioned I won't shoot people close. I actually spoke with Hadley about this after the situation at the helicopter happened. And I don't remember if this is what Dante was upset about or not, but there was another issue.
This was Alan.
There was another issue at helicopter where people got shot close up a bunch of times. And I was talking to Hadley about it, and he's like, well, it's paintball, it's going to happen. You're going to get shot close. And I said, yeah, I mean, it will happen sometimes. It's unavoidable. But you do want to be careful with it. And he said, well, I wouldn't surrender somebody, and I wouldn't take a surrender. And I know you wouldn't. And I said, yes, I would.
I absolutely
And I absolutely would, and I absolutely would surrender somebody. And here's why. And he actually did agree with this point. He said, no, you're right. I said, we have a 9-year-old here. I think he was 9. He might have been 8. I'm not sure. He was a little kid. The shield was bigger than he was.
Yeah.
And he played all day. He was a great little kid. I enjoyed having him there. But
He was smaller than the Viking shield.
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so he did very well, but I said, we have a 9-year-old here. Picture for a second shooting a 9-year-old within 5 feet. Do you think that's a good idea? And he said no. And I would argue that it's not indeed not a good idea, and I think most people would agree with that except Dalton. And I said, now, okay, where do you suppose on this field, given the game was in helicopter area, do you think a 9-year-old would hide? And he said, in the helicopter. And I said, yup. So do you think you should come running up on the helicopter firing? Do you think you should run up on the helicopter and shoot into it, which is what happened? And he said,
He
no,
didn't
probably
shoot
not.
into it.
Hmm?
He didn't. I was there. He did not shoot into it. He ran up to helicopter and he shot behind the fin. Now he may have overshot, and I was on the other side of helicopter and I was looking through what would have been inside helicopter, and he scared the crap out of me. And I was like, what the hell? But, like, it's one thing if you're running up and the other person can see that you running up to them. If you want to shoot within 5 feet, I mean, you kind of have the same advantage of shooting each other. If you get behind somebody and you want to shoot them in the back of the head, who is, like, you've gotten behind them. Congratulations. He can't see you.
So he turned around the fin. But either way, so a little kid, so there's a corner where the fin, like the back of the helicopter that fell off is now a little wall, and then there's a helicopter itself that creates a little box. And I guess that's where he was hiding. That's where Alan was.
Alan was behind basically the fin, sitting down. He had he may have not been paying attention, but he had the opportunity to see what was running in front of him. So yeah, it scared me. I was kind of annoyed that he ran up on Alan because there were like 6 of us in that helicopter at that point. But in that scenario, you saw him running. Like, if from where Alan was, if he was paying attention, first of all, you could have seen where he was before he got the run off. Because I knew where he was.
And why didn't you shoot him?
I couldn't get him. Or it was somebody else and someone else ran. Like, I saw where people were and I was trying to get them. I had moved to the other side and was helping Dante shoot other people. That's when they all came up that hill and were like on the road. Anyway, he had the opportunity to shoot him back.
Well, then from what I understand, I guess, because he was complaining about the 15-foot rule at that point, so I guess his point was Alan did not shoot that player because he was within 15 feet.
I think it was Deadpool, to tell you the honest truth, from what I remember. Now I could be wrong, but...
Okay, so Alan did not shoot, let's say it was Deadpool, did not shoot Deadpool because he was within 15 feet, but Deadpool shot Alan even though he was within 15 feet, I guess is the issue.
He basically ran up and went pew-pew and hit him.
So, and then
back. I think he may have gotten hit because he ran back.
So this is, again, leading to the 15-foot rule being stupid. Because you have some people that will obey it, and then other people that won't. Well, who's right and who's wrong? Because, again, it's untenable in my opinion. So, is the person who disobeys the rule a problem? Well, according to the rules, yes. According to reality, probably not. But so just don't have the rule.
Yeah.
Because you're leading to problems where people won't shoot somebody because they're within 15 feet.
But other people
and then they'll get shot, and then they get pissed off because they're like, well, I'm obeying the rules and they're not, so they're the problem.
It should
and
really,
again, according to the rules, they're right.
And I don't know how, when you ref what you say, because we usually do parties, I give options. I mention the fact that little kid gets shot in the video, and I say, do you want to surrender? And I very rarely have had any issues or anybody get mad if they get shot from 2 feet away, or they usually take the surrender, and it's never a problem. And I'm not saying that you should give options because you can't in a scenario, but I also tell them, don't be a jerk, don't ruin it. If you get behind somebody, congratulations, surrender them, and it's never been a problem. And I know you tell people, don't be jerks.
Yeah.
Use common sense of where you're shooting somebody, and that's really all that you need to do. Don't overshoot, don't blind fire, and pay attention to how far you actually are from
Getting
someone.
off the screen, come back to this side. Yeah, when I would ref at P3, I would tell them, we have no minimum engagement rule, just don't be a dick, was my rule. Rule number 4 was don't be a dick. That was everybody's favorite rule. Because I would tell them, I said, we don't have a minimum engagement rule, so you can shoot people close, but, don't be a dick about it. But at Three Rivers, when I ref there, I tell them there is a 15-foot rule, as you've heard on the announcement, but I always preface, it is pretty much impossible to actually do that, so just be smart about it. I specifically tell people, it is pretty much impossible to do that, so just be smart about it.
You honestly just have to be smart about how you're shooting. Because, Mayon, I was laying on a hill next to somebody, he accidentally bumped his gun and he hit me, and the barrel was probably that far away from my thigh. Did it hurt? Yes. Did he mean to? No. I left the field because I technically got shot, and then I came back and it was no big deal, and he didn't mean to, and it was in a very medius area, so it didn't hurt as much. But some shots aren't gonna hurt. But to Minion's point, if Minion gets shot from 2 feet away, Minion's in the hospital because of his blood disorder. So, and is that oh, I didn't know about Minion. Okay, yeah, of course you didn't know, but why are you shooting people from 2 feet away? Like, just be smart about it. I don't understand why people have to be dumb and like aggressive in a what could be dangerous game. Statistically, paintball is the safest, but you have idiots who just get all adrenaline high and have to prove something to somebody. 1 shot, 5 shots, they're still out. 10 feet away, 2 feet away, they're still out.
Yeah, a really good example of the little kid thing that I was mentioning is this was just an open play one day. There was a little kid on the other team. I don't know how old he was, at most 12. He was real little. And I knew he was there, plus I don't like shooting people close anyway, but I was on the inside of tower, and I knew someone was on the outside of tower. I didn't know who it was. It turned out to be this little kid. But at one point, so I came out ready to shoot somebody farther down, and he came out on the outside of tower. So there's this wall. There's the wall of tower. I'm on one side, I come out, and he's on the other side. Well, let me go this way. So I'm on the inside, and I come out, and he's on the outside, and he comes out at the same moment. Now, if I was trigger happy, and I shot that little kid, first of all, I probably would have shot him in the neck or at the top of the head or face or something from this close. And who knows what kind of problem that would have been. But he did shoot me. Now, he only shot once, and it was, I don't blame the kid. He got scared. Neither one of us knew that the other one person was jumping out at the same time. We scared each other. But I had the trigger discipline not to shoot him. He's just a little kid. He'd never played before. He didn't have that, so he shot me. I still have a scar from where that kid shot me. Again, I don't blame the kid. He's fine. I was fine with it at the time. He apologized, and I said, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But it hurt. I still have a scar from it. And imagine if I had shot him. The problem that would have been.
He would have been in tears, and then a parent would have come and yelled at you.
Right. So, now, to Hadley's point, scenarios are different. There are a lot of people there. Not only do we all know each other for the most part, there's a lot of experienced, aggressive people that won't accept surrenders, which I think is stupid, but regardless, that is all true. But there are also people there that have not played before. There are also little children there. You've got to think about them too.
Because they're the ones that are going to be most affected, and then not want to come back, and then their parents get upset, and then you have a very safe sport with more danger connotations to it. And so, yes, you want to shoot somebody from 2 feet away, shoot another speedballer. Shoot somebody that you know has played scenarios numerous times. Like, just be smart about who you're shooting from what distance.
And if you're coming up on a building, helicopter, tower, whatever, and you don't know if there's anyone in it, or if you do know there's someone in it, you don't know who it is, don't go pounding away on it. If you're gonna run in and shoot, which sometimes that's what you have to do, and I'm okay with it, you don't need to unload your gun on them. You don't need to unload a whole hopper. Just run in, shoot once. That's all you need to do. Because if it is a little kid, and again, if there's a little kid hiding on the field, they're gonna hide in a structure.
They're gonna hide in a building, yeah.
It's gonna happen. If you're on helicopter field, where are they gonna be hiding? In the helicopter. If you're on tower field, where are they gonna be hiding? In the tower. Probably the bottom of it, not the top. So on and so forth. That's where children are gonna go. That's where newbies are gonna go. And if you come running up on them and you unload 10 shots into them from 2 feet away, they're never coming back. And that's killing the sport. People want to know why we can't grow paintball. That's why. People are just jackasses, and it pisses me off.
And unfortunately, you're going to find jackasses in every sport.
That's true.
But you technically have a weapon in your hand. Just be safe about it. If you're running up on someone straight ahead and you know they can see you and pop them from 10 feet away, okay, they saw you. It's probably a one-on-one, if anything. But if you're running into a building just be smart. I just think people need to think better and not get so. The F word, I think, was invented for a reason. Swear all you want, it's gonna get a lot of aggression out, and you're not gonna light up some kid who's never played before. And once you piss mama off, mamas don't get unpissed very easily. You definitely don't piss Mary D off. I will tell you that.
I remember a few years ago. This was at Slippery Rock Paintball, which we went to when we first got back into paintball. That's where we went, and
Yes,
then we
I
won
remember
again.
that.
We won again the next year, and this is the game
I
I'm
was not
referring
there.
to. You were not there. We were playing against a group of maybe 4 or 5 teenagers, probably 15, 16, 17, something like that. And I got all the way around behind 2 of these kids. And I came up behind the one who was laying down in the grass behind a tree sniping. I came up behind him. I was maybe 20 feet away, and I pointed my gun at him and I said, "Surrender." He turned, looked at me, and I said, "Surrender." And then he started shooting at me. So I shot him. We shot each other, and I was like, "What's up?" I surrendered. He's like, "Oh, I don't accept surrenders." Like, really? I'm behind you. You had no idea I was there. The only reason I didn't shoot you is because I'm a nice person. And you're not going to accept that surrender? Like, I could have shot him 50 times in the back of the head and he wouldn't have had any idea what was happening until he was in pain.
I thank people who surrender me. Like,
Yeah,
if
I have
from
too.
behind. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that you didn't shoot. Like, I don't want to be shot in the back of the neck, in the back of the head, because that just pisses me off. First of all, did I get friendly fire? Or is somebody shooting me from the side? It confuses me. I don't like it. It gets me angry. But if you surrender me, I'm absolutely taking it, because congratulations to you. You fucking got behind me.
Hell, on the one mission, mission 2, I think it was mission 2, is when we used the hyperball field. Was that mission 2? Well, in any case,
Yeah.
I was trying to get up to the hyperball field, and I got shot at, and it hit me, but it didn't break. And I was looking, and it was no break, and I looked over, and I was like, "It's a good shot, it didn't break." And then I saw where he was, and he was maybe 20 feet away, behind a bush with his gun pointing at me. And I was like, "Well, it didn't break, but I'll take it," And he was like, "Cool." Now, if I was one of these people that I keep mentioning that don't take surrenders and won't surrender people and overshoot and all that stuff, I would have turned and shot at this person, and then he would have shot me, and it would have been engagement. But you know what I feel the more sportsman thing is? It might not have broken, but he had me. I had no idea he was there. He shot me once. Thank you, by the way, whoever you were. Thank you for just shooting me once. Because he was fairly close. He had a good shot, a good line of fire. I didn't know he was there, so he took one shot. Now, it didn't break, but I took it anyway. That is sportsman. I would have expected someone to do that for me. I would have just shot him once, and he just shot me once, and I think that's terrific. Great sportsman on his part. Because why do you need more than that? And as me,
I
as
don't
the person
know.
who got shot, why do I need to be a dick about it and say, "Well, it didn't break, so I'm going to shoot back at you"? No. You got me. Congratulations. You did real good. I had no idea you were there. You were stealthy. Awesome. Good job on you. I'm going to take it.
I always thank people, or I say good shot, when I don't really like that it hits my mask like right here, where I think I'm tight, but I'm not. I'm like, good shot. Thank you for hitting me in the mask. I'm gone. Goodbye. Because there's this one guy who, I think he's on a speedball team. He's in the video when his head explodes for P3 every damn time. It's usually me and him. And he always hits me in the damn mask. I can never get him, but he always hits me in the mask. He has never hit me in any other part of my body. I think he's maybe my hand once. But he always hits me like right here. And I feel that I'm like just really talented about it, because that's the only part of my body that he can see. But I appreciate that he hits me in the mask purposefully. I think he chooses either...
Right. You're more likely to get a break on the mask.
Yes, but he's a speedballer. He could light me up the side. But he does not. one good shot to the mask, and then I leave, and I'm good with it. And we've joked about it, and I've talked to him numerous times, and after like the first or second time he did it, we were joking about it, and then I think it became, why light her up? I'm gonna find a point where I can hit her that's not gonna be a dick move, and he could light me up. It was the game we played on Black Forest where it was me alone, and it was you on one side. I think you were at like my 11 and he was at my 1, and I had the sun right here. I couldn't see anything. I was behind a big spindle, and I was like, oh shit. And I think you got out. I don't know how you got out, but I think it was just, or you were both shooting at me, but he decided to hit me in the mask instead of lighting me up, and both of you attacked me, and I appreciate that, because I don't want to be lit up. When you're playing against people that you know are not a better shot than you or a better player than you, and you have the power of being able to shoot a lot of paint, and just the power of being an experienced player, don't be a dick. And I like playing against that guy because I know he isn't a dick. He plays fair. One shot is all he needs. If he needs more, he'll shoot more. But I've never had paint fly at me from him. He waits strategically to see where I go, and then he gets me, and he gets me every time. It pisses me off, especially when it's like 1v1. I get so angry about that. But like, he could be aggressive, he could light me up, he could shoot straight down the lane and just have paint fly at me, and he never does, and I appreciate that.
And that's actually, so whenever we go to Bad Company for 2-man tournaments or whatever else, one of the things I enjoy most about that field, besides Tim, who I love, and Dalton, who I love, is not only the sportsmanship in general, but for the most part, people aren't super aggressive.
No,
There's 2 or 3 or 4 people that, like, as we've talked about before, will shoot more paint in one round than I will the whole day. But other than them, you don't see, there's not a whole lot of shooting. And even those ones, I never feel like people are getting overshot by them. They shoot a lot of paint.
They shoot a lot of paint.
But I never feel like anyone leaves having just been annihilated.
I think the only time I felt, or not even felt, that I actually got just kind of covered was when I ran straight down for the flag. And I was in the middle of the field with nothing covering me, and he was just shooting to try to get me in the last 30 seconds, which he had every right to do, and I was not upset or angry about it at all. I think that's the only time I've actually seen, like, I guess not even trying to be lit up, but like have that sense of I gotta lay paint down to get her when only one, like, I mean, I was running straight down the center.
Because you were trying to get for the flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, even those few that just I don't know how they can afford to shoot as much paint as they do. I still don't feel like I'm being overshot by them. I feel like they're just trying to get a lucky shot through. But I don't feel that way all the time.
It's very rare if it's not wonderful sportsmanship, and when you're not on the field, you're joking around and laughing and having a good time. It's never seriously competitive aggressiveness for those 2-man tournaments. Everyone's just there to kind of have a good time, and there are speedballers who that's just how they play, is to lay down paint on the line.
Right, but my point is, though, that
you don't feel like you're being overshot.
I don't feel like people are being aggressively mean with their paint, which I sometimes feel like at other places. So that's a big shout out to Bad Company. Please go there and play, because it's a good field with good people.
Tim is a silver fox that everybody should just
Yeah, we
meet.
all know how you feel about Tim Toy.
I like Tim.
I don't think like is the right word.
Besides that, I think he's a silver fox, and he looks like Paul Hollywood from the Great British Baking Show. He's just a very sweet, nice guy.
Tim Toy. What's Tim Toy's wife's name? She better watch out because you're coming for her.
Oh god, yeah.
You're coming for Tim Toy. But anyway, but yeah, sometimes I feel like people are just being overly aggressive, overly and overtly aggressive.
Because they
At
can
Three
be.
Rivers, I guess, and not just Three Rivers. There's other places
No,
too.
it's-
It's just that's who we're talking about at the moment.
It's everywhere.
But I mean, I still had fun overall at the game. I mean, it's Mission Masters. You're gonna have fun. It's paintball. You're gonna have fun. But yeah, there's definitely those few things that need changed. I mean, some of the things that we've mentioned, like the refs, we've mentioned that so many times. It's never gonna change, unfortunately. But yeah, so we mentioned this virus sucks. Well, for multiple reasons. So Ion got canceled. I think I mentioned that before. Ion is officially kaput. That is not happening. Stalingrad was canceled. I doubt they're going to have the third one, just because why would they at this point? They may have a scenario, but it won't be that one.
Well, before Ion got canceled, after Stalingrad got canceled, there were talks of doing another small game in October. At this point, who knows? Who knows
My guess is that they're not going to bother.
if any of the ones in August are happening.
Right. And speaking of which, so for Hamburger Hill at Steeltown, I have official word on two things. One is that if there is a cancellation, it's a full refund, including any paint that you bought, which is I would expect, but there you have it. It's official. And second is that this one's not 100%, but it may be capped at $250 instead of $400 now. So if you haven't already pre-registered, I recommend doing so now. Strongly recommend doing so now. Register for the U.S. team, which is the only one you can register for at the moment. I don't know why, but there you have it.
But I think even with 250, I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. But the other reason, speaking of big game, the other reason that the virus sucks is because at this game, at Mayan, it was a big game. It was the biggest Mission Masters in a while.
Yeah.
There were over 100 people there. This one, there were 70.
I think there were about 35 each.
It was like 35.
And then it wavered between 40 and 36 and kind of capped at 40.
Yeah, so at most there were 80 players, so quite a bit less. Probably more the average number of a Mission Masters nowadays.
And you could tell when we got there for Mayan, it was already big, and that was at 8:30 in the morning. You could tell that when we got there at 8:30, there were not a lot of people.
Yeah,
there.
the parking lot was like just dead compared to what it had been for Mayan. I think part of it is people are worried about the virus, which I understand. I'm worried about the virus, so I understand how that goes. And I think I mentioned this before. With Ion, the only reason we were even still going to go was because she has to at this point. I didn't actually feel safe going to that game, so I'm glad it got canceled, honestly.
It frustrates me very much because this was the first year we decided to do all three, and that I was gonna have power.
And you're in power.
And we all know how I enjoy power.
She does enjoy power. And actually, I'm nervous about even Hamburger Hill. Even at 250, we're not going to be camping there. We're going to stay late. We're going to come back early the next day, but we're not camping there because I don't want to be around that many people, honestly. And I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it. I actually hope it gets canceled. There's just too many people all in one place camping out. I don't think it's good.
I don't disagree. I thought about that. I was like, are they gonna cancel it? I feel that we've been open, we've been green for what, a month? Not even. And
we have more cases
we
now.
have more
than ever
cases
before.
now. That scares me.
Right. And it's specifically for me, it's the camping part. Because like one-day events, if they changed Hamburger Hill to a one-day event, even, it'd be better. Because when you're, as we've talked about before, when you're on the field, it's not a problem. It's not an issue. But off the field, everyone's social. And then, but the problem with the camping specifically, everyone's complaining about why the bar's closed. I saw a meme that said, if you order a beer, you're gonna get it, but if you order a Coke, you'll be fine. And people are angry about the bars closing and the alcohol. But here's the thing. People are stupid. But people are really stupid when they're drinking. And so when you have a camping event, people are gonna drink. It's gonna happen. It annoys the crap out of me. I'm not a drinker, but I especially don't want people drinking when they're shooting at me. But that's neither here nor there. People are stupid when they're drinking, and they're gonna be drinking when they're camping out. And then you're just together longer. People are intense together. Everyone's close together camping, and you got people drinking. It's just gonna lead to problems. So if they either bring it down to a one-day event instead of a weekend event, I'd be fine with that too. And that's why, like, I don't have a problem going to the Mission Masters, because they're only a one-day event. You can generally keep your distance, and they're not huge either. 400 people all camping out, probably not a good idea.
All my big power events.
Yeah. Well, I think we've complained long enough for tonight.
I wanted to make one more note.
She wants to make one more note.
So, the reason that I love Dean so much, this is actually just one of the many. So we obviously lost, and he printed out.
Do we have that somewhere?
I don't know if we have it, but so he didn't change his command awards and put a W, but he did print out Mission Master command W's and Mission Master L's, and unfortunately we got the L.
We did get the L.
But the fact that, like, he pulled it out and he just stared at me with this big grin of, this is your doing, you're getting an L because you made me get a W. And that's a good reason why Mission Masters, I think that we enjoy it. We have a good time. I only ham it up for Dean.
I think it might be over here if you want to look. But I plan on framing it. I'm going to frame our L, and I'm going to put it on our wall with all of our awards. Because it's very exciting. So thank you, Dean, for doing that. Even though she just wanted the W, I think it's hilarious.
Oh, I think it's
that you made a W and an
I
L.
think it's hysterical, and I love that he did it, even though we had to get. I mean, even though we lost.
Even though we got the L.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it's hilarious.
I think it's
keep
wonderful.
doing it. It's
And
hilarious.
it shows that
He listens, and he's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy. That he, like, you know,
He's
we
a
talk,
mushroom.
We talk about, like, being serious on the field and all this respect. We are LARPing in the woods for 7 hours. And if you can't make fun of yourself and have a good time with it and get so serious that you want to, like, hurt somebody with paint, get over yourself. We are legit LARPing in the woods, pretending that we're the Imperial Japanese Navy. Like, lower all standards and just have fun. Because that's what Dean brings to the game. He brings respect for war events, and he makes sure that they're authentic. And he wants you to have a good time because he loves the game. And when you go there, you know he loves the game. And that's what it should be about.
And losing.
Losing.
So Eric said, Dean found out about my medical condition last event and thinks I'm crazy. So in response to that, Eric would be, well, you are crazy, so...
You wouldn't be on Dunedain if you were sane, though.
Yeah, we don't have normal
We
people
don't have
on our
normal
team. Everyone's a little strange on our team.
Have you met me? I'm the walking poster child for weird.
She's more than a little strange, honestly. But yeah, so we've bothered everybody for enough for the night. Yes, and plus we're competing with whatever group that is that's on there on
Somebody's
Facebook
going
Live.
about,
They decided that they wanted to
Scenarios.
intrude upon our space.
because you know we so important.
But next week, we'll probably still go live for at least a little while, but we'll be camping, so it'll be a change of scenery. So it'll be fun.
And Dalton, you're required. I was gonna try to do that like real weird.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know.
What words?
You're requested and required. Actually, all of Dunedain.
I thought all of Dunedain was requested and required.
Yes, but I'm Dalton has given me pushback, and I don't appreciate it, so I'm yelling at him right now.
Okay, good night.
Good night.